Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
You could be driving.
Honda has won more U.S. News and World Report awards than any other brand in the last decade. And now you can add another one to the list, being named the best car brand of 2022. Come get your Honda today at Louisiana's #1 Honda dealer, Team Honda on Siegel Lane.
Visit Treads & Care Tire Company's new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for over 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair and top-notch customer service.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
No one can stop me when I taste the feeling. Nothing could ever bring me down. Nothing could ever bring me down. Taste the feeling.
Welcome as we start today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. Here's hoping all is well with you and yours in your little slice of South Louisiana heaven since the last opportunity we had to talk with you roughly some 24 hours ago. We start today's show with Louisiana news and deja vu all over again at the Louisiana legislature. The Fairness in Women's Sports Act passed out of committee, out of the Senate, actually, Senate Bill 44 by State Senator Beth Mizell. You may remember the bill passed last legislative session and then vetoed by Governor John Bel Edwards. This bill would require people to play in school sports teams based on the gender that they were assigned at birth. Quote, "From day one, my bill has been to protect women." That is Senator Mizell speaking. "It's incredibly simple," the quote continues. "If you're born and your biology is a female, you play female sports. If you're born a male, then you don't play female sports." Pretty cut and dry, pretty simple. But Governor John Bel Edwards on his weekly radio show yesterday said that there are more important issues facing our state than this. Quote, "My position hasn't changed. In the intervening year, there still hasn't been a single case of this happening in Louisiana. And you know, for that reason, it is wholly unnecessary. And because it's unnecessary, I think there's a certain mean-spiritedness nature to it. And obviously, I would much rather have the legislature spend its time focusing on issues that people are actually talking about around their supper table. This is not one of them." Well, Governor, I beg to disagree. Any Louisiana family that has children, particularly females, that play sports are concerned about this. They may not talk about it at the supper table, but it's certainly something that's on their minds. And again, disagreeing with the governor, I think the only mean-spirited part in all of this is allowing guys to compete against girls. They have spent God knows how many years trying to excel in whatever their chosen sport happens to be. And playing against other females, there is a realistic possibility that on any given day, they will be able to beat any other athlete, female athlete, that they're competing against. When you add biological males to the mix, now all of a sudden, what had been a level playing field has now changed dramatically. And listen, y'all, I get it. The governor's a liberal. I'm a conservative. That's the way America rolls. I get that. But at the end of the day, to call something mean-spirited that is doing nothing more than attempting to make sure that our young women have a level playing field, my humble opinion only, is seriously misguided. Now, whether or not, if the governor vetoes it a second time around, there will be enough votes to override the veto, that remains to be seen. But at the end of the day, it would be nice to see on occasion our legislature get ahead of the game. The governor's rationale seems to be that, well, until we have a case like this, we don't need to spend time focusing on the issue. Personally, again, I would like to see the Louisiana legislature, for once, get ahead of the game in this regard and not wait until there's some ugly, nasty fight brewing, if that is, you truly care about women and a level playing field regarding that particular issue. We'll keep an eye on it and see where all of this goes. But at the end of the day, Governor, I don't have access to who the individuals are that you've been talking to, but for parents, particularly with children and female children, it is a concern for those that are playing sports. And at the end of the day, fairness is what we're all supposed to be about. Just an observation. Meanwhile, if you are a Louisiana motorist that travels the Spillway Bridge, the Atchafalaya Basin Bridge, there is a move afoot to make that portion of highway much safer. Sadly, it is yet another example of when you fail to govern yourself, you consent to be governed. In recent memory, we've seen a number of horrific crashes, and I will leave to you to decide what the primary cause is. Speeding, distracted driving, not paying attention to the basic rules of the road regarding correct following distance, using your turn signals, etc., etc. But as a result of the ungodly occurrences that we've witnessed in recent memory on the Atchafalaya Basin Bridge, the Senate now is introducing and entertaining a bill that would raise the fine for speeding, wait for it, about fivefold. Obviously, the Basin Bridge has posted speed limits. Obviously, we all know when we see the signs that this is the law, this is how you're supposed to drive. And if this bill passes, the $175 fine that you used to get for speeding on the Basin Spillway Bridge, it would jump from $175 to, wait for it, $875. That's first offense. Second offense, or repeat offenders, the fine would jump to $2,500 and, put a little cherry on top, up to 90 days in jail if this bill were to become reality. You know, y'all, there are so many things in life that are completely outside of our control. There are things, and we don't have enough time left in today's show to list all of the things that are completely outside of our control. How you conduct yourself behind the wheel of a car is not supposed to be one of them. There are very clearly marked rules of the road, speed limits, staying in the right lane unless, of course, you're passing, in which case, after you pass the vehicle, you return to the right lane. We're talking simple, elementary things here. But for whatever reason, the Basin Bridge seems to attract this preponderance of people that are of the opinion the law applies to everybody but me. It is a shame to think that we, apparently, don't care any more about ourselves, our lives, the lives of our passengers, not to mention the rest of the entire motoring public, that we won't observe the rules of the road. And of course, as I started, when you fail to govern yourself, well, you have now opened the door for someone to step in and govern you, since apparently you're not capable of doing it yourself. From $175 to $875. Now, with the exception of Marty, who's, big money baller, he'll get out there, $875, that's all, hang on, let me get my wallet. Here you go, officer. But the rest of us, $875 speeding ticket. They've always said, if you want people to respond, hit them in the pocket. And this one would do just that. $875 first offense. And if you happen to get caught again, it jumps to $2,500. Again, unless you Marty, big money baller, you might want to slow it down and observe the posted speed limit when you travel I-10 on the Atchafalaya Basin Bridge. We'll keep an eye on that bill as well, see how all of this shakes out, and of course we will update you in the days and the weeks ahead. First break of this hour is right around the corner. The legislature now moving to address this outlandish increase in juvenile crime. About time, legislature, tip of the hat to you. And more legislative news. But first, we need to get this break out of the way. And we'll come back and talk more with you right where you've got it on today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Hi, I'm Bobby Yarborough with Mandafine Meats. Here at Manda, we know what the folks of South Louisiana love. They love great flavored smoked sausage, delicious deli meats, and specialty items like boudin and andouille sausage. Mandafine Meats has been providing these products since 1947. We produce them right here in Baton Rouge, so you know you're always getting the freshest product at your local grocery store. Mandafine Meats. Taste the fresh local flavor in everything we make. Make it Manda every time.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent. Depend on us for service, for selection, for price. Get huge Whirlpool savings. Shop now and save on Whirlpool appliances throughout the store. Plus, experience our price match guarantee and ask about special financing.
You can depend on the know-how of people who live appliances every day.
Bolello's Furniture and Appliances, your dependable independent with nationwide buying power.
I owed the IRS $10,000.
The IRS garnished my wages.
They put a lien on my house.
I'm self-employed and didn't report all my income. They claim I owe a lot more than I do.
The IRS is the most powerful collection agency in the world. They do not give up until you pay.
I couldn't sleep. We were being audited. I called Tax Solutions Now, and a great big weight was lifted off my shoulders.
I called Tax Solutions Now, and they got the IRS off my back.
Tax Solutions Now had my wage garnishment lifted in 48 hours.
Tax Solutions Now can get you help. Our agents know the rules, can stop the pain, and get you the best deal.
Tax Solutions Now saved my business.
I qualified for the Fresh Start program. I paid less than I owed.
We connect you with a team of former IRS agents and tax professionals who get the IRS off your back. Time is running out. Call Tax Solutions now.
Call 800-778-4345. 800-778-4345.
The Mazda CX-30, named an IIHS Top Safety Pick Plus. Perfect for the journey ahead.
Start your journey in a new Mazda CX-30. Right here at Team Mazda on Airline.
Hi, gang. Clarence Bugs here, inviting you to come by Old School Barbecue, 10655 Coursey Boulevard, where we tape the show live every Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday at 11 o'clock. Come by and feast on news, sports, current events, love of God and country, and lots of common sense, along with some of the best barbecue anywhere on the planet. 10655 Coursey Boulevard, Old School Barbecue, home of the Clarence Bugs Show.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystoneCountryClub.com.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bugs Show. I guess this story could be best summarized with the phrase, boy, that didn't take long. Think back to the summer of 2020, if you will, and you may remember that there was a bill that worked its way through the legislature and became law, and was pegged as the, quote, raise the age law. This law, which went into effect in the summer of 2020, allowed 17-year-olds to be prosecuted as juveniles. The point of the law was to keep these young offenders separate from adults. And of course, you know the rationale, hoping that it would give them additional time to straighten their lives out, throw out the criminal tendencies, and then go on to lead a productive life. But in recent memory, we have seen this explosion in crime, particularly among, imagine this, 17-year-olds. You know, many of us adults are of the opinion that kids don't watch the news, they don't keep up with current events unless it has something to do with the societal trend, but otherwise they're not aware of this stuff. And you would be sorely mistaken. East Baton Rouge Parish very quickly blamed Raise the Age for the recent troubles at juvenile facilities here in EBR. Quote, over the last months since Raise the Age, we've had 3 episodes. I think all of those episodes included someone in that age range. That quote, by the way, is attributed to Chief Administrative Officer Darrell Gissel. DAs, sheriffs, all getting behind this. DA Ricky Babin, quote, I think it would be a good idea. He goes on to say that as a result of this Raise the Age law, it's created more work for prosecutors and law enforcement statewide. Quote, now it's forced our hand and it's causing us to transfer more cases to adult court than we used to because there's no punishment for juvenile crime. Meanwhile, Mayor Sharon Weston Broom's office releasing the following statement. The intent of Raise the Age is to keep juveniles separate from adult offenders. Children housed in adult facilities are denied education and age-appropriate services that reduce the likelihood of recidivism. This law is in alignment with 46 other states. With that said, since Raise the Age took effect last summer, East Baton Rouge's Juvenile Detention Center has had an influx of older individuals accused of serious crimes, along with an increase of behavioral incidents and escapes. During the first quarter of 2022, more than 70% of detainees are age 17 or older, with the majority accused of felonies. It continues. Many of these older detainees are staying at the facility for months while they await court proceedings, which is for a much longer period than the facility was designed. We believe that the state should provide local governments with the resources needed to enhance juvenile detention centers and staff in light of the law change. At the end of the day, y'all, it is a part of the human experience. Kids, like most adults, will get away with whatever they are allowed to get away with. That's just the nature of the beast. That's how it works. And I can't imagine that there's anybody, even the most liberal among us, that would think at this point, after watching all this unfold, that juveniles have no idea what they're doing. They know exactly what they're doing. And most criminals thrive on the indulgence of society. Well, bless their little hearts, they're just, they're not but 17, and they don't yet know right from wrong, and the whole plethora of excuses that we hear time after time after time. But the numbers are what the numbers are, y'all. Pure and simple. And the fact of the matter is, like a lot of other things going on right now, what we're doing ain't working, y'all. It's not working. And say what you will about the nature of a society and how they treat the children and their elderly. At this point, I think the public is sick and tired of being sick and tired. And watching the tendencies trend the way they are, it does not look like it's going to get better anytime soon. Just saying. Speaking of the Louisiana legislature, they are also attempting to rein in the problem of catalytic converter theft. And I guess the dividing line between the criminal element and sensible people probably falls squarely between the two. But anyone, my humble opinion only, anyone crawling under someone else's vehicle to steal a component off the car has some serious issues. And at the end of the day, catalytic converter thefts have gotten to be a problem all across the country. You may well remember here not too long ago, there was a husband and wife arrested after it was found out they had stolen more than 100 catalytic converters off vehicles around the Baton Rouge area. And of course, there was a case not so very long ago where a guy crawls under the vehicle, tries to steal the catalytic converter, ends up getting crushed and run over. So the legislature now, looking at where I guess the money comes from behind all this, they're now entertaining a measure that would hold those who buy these stolen catalytic converters liable. It is recycling company's worst nightmare. And at the end of the day, it's very easy to say, well, if you owned it legally, you shouldn't have any problem writing down the VIN number or the make, model, and registered owner. And if we find out later on that you lied about it, well, we will hold you accountable. A 325% increase over 2019. More than 14,000 catalytic converters stolen. It's indicative of the ills that are plaguing our society. It is indicative of the me attitude that has taken over so many individuals in this country. And when all is said and done, as hard as you work, just the thought of getting up in the morning to go back to work, and all of a sudden your car sounds like a tank because some miscreant overnight came in and stole the catalytic converter, is something that you should not have to deal with. And certainly not in the epidemic proportions that we're seeing. It is yet another sad commentary of failing to govern yourself, so others now have to step in and govern you. In an ideal world, and of course we all know the world is nowhere near ideal, but in an ideal world, just a simple respect for the rights of others, not to mention yourself and your family, and this would be one less law that we need to focus on. Maybe that's what Governor John Bel Edwards was alluding to when he said, this is not a topic, transgender sports, that average Louisianians are talking about at the dinner table. I'll leave that to you to decide the authenticity of that statement. Just saying. Just saying. Bottom of the hour break is just around the corner. We'll get this out of the way. And when we come back, we knew this was coming. And the numbers now verify it. So we all knew it was coming. The numbers verify that it's as bad or worse than we thought it was going to be. And yet, the number one group that has been preaching to us for 2 years now that the numbers are out, they are conspicuously silent about what the numbers say. We'll clue you in after our bottom of the hour break when we continue on with today's edition of the Clarence Bugg Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
Got termites? Get Premier Pest. PremierPestServices.com.
Driver assistance technology comes standard on every Camry model as part of Toyota Safety Sense, setting the standard for safety every time you're on the road, no matter the destination. Save on your Camry today at Team Toyota, I-12 at O'Neill.
Hi, I'm Katie, Operation Manager here at Old School Barbecue. We're excited about all of the changes here at Old School, and we'd like to invite everyone to come out and enjoy some delicious barbecue at Old School prices. We feature brisket, chicken, ribs, sausage, and the Boss Hog pulled pork sandwich voted best deal in town. We also have live music Friday and Saturday from 7 to 10 p.m. 10655 Coursey Boulevard. We can't wait to see you.
Hello guys, it's Debbie. It's time. I've got a brand new location. 10510 Airline Highway, Baton Rouge, next to After 5 Tuxedos. We have the perfect spot to get all your wedding and formal wear needs. Come see our one-of-a-kind name brand and get great prices. With 30 years experience, the best customer service anywhere. It's Debbie's Bridal, Airline Highway, Baton Rouge. See you soon.
Hi, I am Dr. Farrell Frugier Jr., and I am a general dentist at Frugier Family Dentistry. I was born and raised in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. I went to Catholic High School, LSU, and LSU School of Dentistry in New Orleans, where I received my DDS degree in 1986. I always have and will continue to be committed to continuing my education, to invest in technology which makes the diagnosis and delivery of dentistry more thorough, more comfortable, and more aesthetically pleasing. In our practice, we are here to serve the patients. We want to improve their quality of life and to develop relationships with our patients. In dentistry, we have a chance to impact lives on a daily basis, not just by doing dentistry, but by getting to know them and being a part of their life. We also believe in giving back to our community. So every year, we give back to the Greater Baton Rouge Food Bank, Toys for Tots, and Mary Bird Perkins Cancer Center. Please stop by and visit our office. We would love to take care of you and your family.
Hi, I'm Hurricane Betsy Barnes.
And I'm Dr. Kay Siller with The Rocket Right Show.
We are two busy blondes on the go showing off life in Louisiana.
Watch us on Pelican Sports Network.
And Talk 107.3 FM. Check local listings for times.
Caught spiders. Premier Pest Services.
Welcome back to today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. You know, in recent memory, the mainstream media, social media, and those on the left have hammered this country incessantly with claims, stories, and in many cases outright lies regarding racism and the state thereof in America. The White House telling us in no uncertain terms that the greatest threat to this country, and particularly to people of color, are white supremacists. We have gone a couple of years now hearing over and over and over and over and over again. As a matter of fact, it gave rise to a movement in the wake of the George Floyd incident to a group called BLM, Black Lives Matter. And of course, we saw it, the logo emblazoned on sports teams, courtside, on the field for football, and anytime any Hollywood or left-wing pundit opened their mouths, we were berated and beat over the head with it. Well, this week, the FBI released its annual crime statistics. And in 2020, compared to the prior year, 2019, murders across the board went up nearly 30%. For people of color, it spiked disproportionately, meaning 2019, get these numbers, BLM, who cares so much about black lives and black people in this country. In 2019, at least 7,484 black Americans were murdered. 2019, 7,484. A year later, in 2020, the number rose from 7,484 for the year to 9,941. For all intents and purposes, 10,000 African Americans murdered in 1 year. So when the statistics were released, the good folks at Fox News picked up the phone and called BLM, the proponents of Black Lives Matter, to ask, what's your take on this? And particularly since you led the charge for defunding the police. I know it's hindsight, and hindsight's always 20/20. But the fact of the matter is, we conservatives tried to tell you this up front. And all we got for our troubles were being called a bunch of ugly names. We told you over and over and over again, defunding the police, as all the Democrats and those on the left were pushing to anybody who would listen, we told you this is going to hurt the community of color more than anybody else. And did Democrats listen? No, they didn't listen. They came up with even uglier names, and they piled on top of that why we need to defund the police. And like they normally do, they used black folks as a prop. Well, it's the black community, and you see what's happening with these police officers murdering black people. We need to stop this to protect black people. So how then do you explain a rise of almost 3,000 more black people being murdered almost exclusively by other black people? And of course, you already know, Fox News called early yesterday, left a message for the representatives of BLM to comment, and they still hadn't heard back from them. Now, get this. Get this. 2010 to 2019, a decade, okay? An average of 6,927 black Americans were murdered each year. So a little rough math, round it off to 7,000. You're actually 73 shy of 7,000. 6,927. Over the course of a decade, that is 69,000 and change black folks murdered. But you hadn't heard a peep from the Democrats. You hadn't heard a peep from the left. We now find out, over 1 year, an additional right at 3,000 black murders on top of the 7,000, and not a peep out of BLM. You see how you got played? Oh, but they did manage to buy up millions of dollars in high-priced real estate. I see how that works. But we told you all along. We told you up front. Black Lives Matter, the organization, should have put an addendum behind the BLM initials. In parentheses, Black Lives Matter, but only if somebody white takes a black life. Just a hair shy of 10,000 black people murdered in 1 year. Now, a thinking person would have to ask one's self, wait a minute, 10,000 in 1 year? Now, can you imagine if, I don't know, a tenth of that, if 1,000 had been murdered by somebody white, can you imagine what would be going on in this country? The rioting, the looting, the burning, the homicides. Can you begin to imagine? And yet, you don't hear anything from the individuals who claim they're the black man's best friend. They're looking out for black people. Democrats, the left, Hollywood. When's the last time you remember seeing a commercial or a PSA from LeBron James encouraging his young black brothers to stop killing each other? Oh, wait, that's right. You haven't. When's the last time, Mr. Racism, you remember seeing a commercial with Colin Kaepernick in it encouraging his young black brothers to stop killing each other? Oh, wait, that's right, you haven't. When's the last time you remember seeing a commercial with Maxine Waters on it encouraging her young black brothers to stop killing other young black men? Oh, wait, that's right, she's never done it. And yet, you still running around here talking about BLM, Black Lives Matter. No, they don't. Not unless somebody white takes the life. Then all hell's gonna break loose. If you have been supporting these clowns, you should be ashamed of yourself. You should be ashamed. 10,000 young black men in 1 year, y'all, murdered almost exclusively by other young black men. And yet, if you listen to them, the Democrats will tell you white supremacists, the boogeyman, is the biggest thing you need to be concerned with. Let me tell you something, y'all. I get in conversations with people of all spectrums all the time. But I'm going to do you a favor. If you're a white liberal and you find yourself in a conversation with me, don't bring up the race card, because you're going to get put in check real quick. Don't try to tell me that as a black man, the white supremacist is what I should be most concerned with, because it's not. When I go to the corner store, when I go to the grocery store, when I go wherever, I'm not looking around the corner for some guy in a white pointy hat and a robe. That's not who I'm worried about. You know who I'm worried about. 10,000 black people murdered in 1 year. And those on the left, Democrats, just as quiet as a church mouse. That, my friends, ought to tell you everything you need to know. Final break of today's show. We'll get her done, come back, put that big old pretty bow on this puppy, and wrap up today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show, only on the Pelican. Stay close.
You can't smell it, but you can almost taste it. And whether it's for a family get-together or a game day feast, having Manda in the mix always sounds good. For 3 generations, their quality meats and original seasonings have made Manda a Louisiana legend and made their family sausage Louisiana's family sausage. Mandafine Meats, the flavor says it all.
Treads & Care Tire Company announces its new location on Hooper Road in Central. Locally owned for 50 years, Treads & Care is known for quality automotive repair with top-notch customer service. Treads & Care offers the convenience of shuttle service and pickup and delivery of your vehicle. You can also enjoy the comfortable customer area, complete with workstations, high-speed internet, and a complimentary coffee bar.
I'd like to invite you to come out and see us at our new location in Central.
Treads & Care, the tires you need and the service you want.
Live and play on the fairway at Greystone Golf and Country Club, a serene, challenging golf destination located in Denham Springs. For tee times and membership opportunities, go to GreystonecountryClub.com.
Tremonti's has meat, Tremonti's has seafood, Tremonti's has much more. Tailgating and home gating platters, huge wine and liquor selection, beer and all the spices you need. Chairman Reserve and Wagyu meats, ribeye rolls, shrimp rolls, kebabs, 20 flavors of sausage for the grill, daily lunch specials and game processing. On-site catering also available. Good meat ain't cheap and cheap meat ain't good. Visit Tremonti's.com.
Sometimes life is wonderful, and sometimes it's not. Cherish the good, but always be prepared for life's challenges. At Private Healthcare, we provide the peace of mind you deserve. With Private Healthcare, you'll get the coverage you want and healthcare you need. If your employer doesn't supply healthcare coverage and you don't qualify for Medicare or Medicaid, you need to give us a call right now. Private Healthcare is private health insurance for ages 65 and under with medical, dental, vision, and even prescription coverage. When life comes at you unexpectedly, you need to be ready. And health insurance is your financial safety net. Health insurance has never been so easy and affordable. If you're looking for health coverage at the best price and your annual household income is $35,000 or more, call the number on the screen now and speak with a live healthcare consultant. Don't wait. Get the coverage you need now.
Welcome back to the final segment of today's edition of the Clarence Bug Show. I guess we'll apply the moniker "Nothing New Under the Sun" for this final segment. Question: when somebody tells you an obvious, blatant lie, what happens to your level of trust with that individual? I would imagine if you are like anybody else I've ever met, every time you get that lie, your trust level diminishes. Tell me another one, it goes even lower. Tell me another one, goes even lower, and so on and so forth. Considering there's nothing new under the sun, understand that with the increasing momentum that's happened, there are folks that are going to try and convince you that if you don't go out and buy a $60,000 electric car, you are dooming the planet. Now, I want to give a shout out to this person, never met him. Tony Heller with RealClimateScience.com. Put together a list of things spanning 50 years that environmentalists have sounded the alarm over, and none of it has ever come true. For example, 1967, headline in the Times, "Dire Famine by 1975. You remember that happening? Yeah, Marty, there you go. 1969, The New York Times, Sunday edition, headline: Everyone will disappear in a cloud of blue steam by 1989. Marty did. 33 years ago, you remember any news stories about people being vaporized and disappearing? New York Times again. 1989. Foe of pollution sees lack of time to save the planet. 69 would be 31 and 22. That's what? 53 years ago. We only had a limited window to save the planet. The Boston Globe, April 16th, 1970. Headline: America subject to water rationing by 1974 and food rationing by 1980. That was 42 years ago. Never happened. Redlands, Daily Facts, October 6th, 1970. Headline: 1971, a new ice age is coming. 52 years ago. Washington Post, July 9th, 1971. Headline: 1972, new ice age by 2020. 1974. NOAA, National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration. Headline: new ice age coming fast. The Guardian newspaper, January 29th, 1974. Question mark: another ice age? Funny how they pivoted from we gonna freeze to death to y'all gonna burn up in just a couple of decades. Time magazine, June 24th, 1974. Headline: ozone depletion, a great peril to life. NASA, headline, 1976, the cooling. 1980, headline, the New York Times. And of course, hold on, let it refresh. The New York Times comes out, headline: acid rain will kill all life in lakes. 1980, so that's what, 42 years ago. Never happened. Associated Press, also known as the AP, as in always propaganda. AP, September 6th, 1990. Headline: no end in sight for 30-year cooling trend. See, this is what happens when you were born to parents that did too much acid in college. This is what happens. Ain't nothing new under the sun. English teachers, forgive me, I did not give y'all the heads up on that one. Ain't nothing new under the sun. It's the same crap warmed over. Change the name here or there and shove it in your face. None of this stuff came anywhere close to happening. So you would have to ask yourself, if you're a thinking person, okay, why are they pushing this climate change agenda so much? Well, my humble opinion only, it's typical if you do what the phrase says, and that is to, quote, follow the money. Pure and simple. Follow the money. Ain't nothing new under the sun, y'all. My favorite band growing up, horn-based band, was Tower of Power. And they had a song out in the mid-'70s. There's only so much oil in the ground. Remember that? Hit record. There's only so much oil in the ground. Sooner or later, there won't be none around. Tell that to your family while you're driving around downtown, that there's only so much oil in the ground. We can't cut loose without that juice. And they go on and on. Now, all of a sudden, well, y'all need to get electric cars. And nobody seems to be able to tell me. Maybe they told you, and I'm just not privy. But where's all this extra electricity going to come from for these millions and millions and millions of vehicles that are going to be requiring electricity? Where's that going to come from? The unicorn's butt. The old reliable unicorn's butt comes through for you every time. Either that or you walk out in the back of the White House to Joe Biden's electric tree and you pull a few leaves off and you put it in the gas tank, voila, electricity. Really, y'all? Really? We have allowed ourselves to be dumbed down to this point? But as is typically the case with the liberal mindset, as is the case with the typical Democrat, they have yet to address, well, we're trying to save the planet. You do realize in 10, 15 years, with all y'all driving electric cars, what's going to happen when these batteries full of toxic material fail and have to be disposed of. You are looking at arguably the single largest environmental disaster in the history of this planet. But that's okay, because you'll be saving the planet. It's for the children, I tell you. It's for the children and the future. You believe that? And I have a 16-bedroom, beachfront, mountaintop chalet in Bruley, Louisiana that I'll let you have real cheap. You see how they play you? And yet, at the end of this day, many of y'all are going to go home and worship at the altar of CNN LOL. Many of you, at the end of this day, are going to go home and worship at the altar of ABC, NBC, and CBS. Many of y'all are going to go home at the end of this day and worship at the altar of MSLSD. I guess for some of my fellow Americans, there's just no longer any hope. My time's up, y'all, and I gotta go. But this day, just like any other, I give it to you. You know what? You're right. America, we're not perfect. But for this old boy's money, it's the best there is. And God knows there's no place else on his green earth that I'd rather be. Speaking of the good Lord, you realize he loves you, right? And I hope you know that I do too. Best news you gonna get all day, there ain't a doggone thing you can do about either one. We'll see you soon. God bless.